You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Condescending clowns. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I'd like you to imagine, if you will, that as a young person trying to forge a path through the world with a particular perspective, where you are looking on the world as perhaps posing problems, being a dark place, a bullying place, a cruel and unkind place. You've grown up in a digital environment. You've never had, for instance, to rewind a tape cassette. What's one of those? With a pencil. Instead, you've streamed music, you streamed your television shows. The internet was all pervasive the moment that you were pumped out by your mother. And there you are, as this young person, trying to do some good in the world, and it's important to receive motivation, inspiration, and recognition for your endeavours. Whilst my group, the narcissists, of course, rely upon people's reactions for fuel, praise, adoration, admiration, being amongst positive fuel, all people like to have some form of recognition for their endeavours, whether it's being invited up on stage to receive applause or a nod from the CAO for their contribution to the latest project. People need praise. And therefore, imagine that you're that young person trying to do some good in the world, and that you would be very much motivated and validated by the receipt of praise and encouragement and recognition from a particular person. You probably want it to come from, say, somebody who'd had a long career in public service, perhaps a politician, perhaps somebody that has been involved in a local authority that has undertaken public works and has repeatedly given of their time and expertise and has achieved various things. You might perhaps want that confirmation and recognition to come from somebody who has helmed a successful company, perhaps creating it from scratch, or having taken the reins and seen that company grow, and perhaps even ensured that the output of that company has bettered humanity in some way. Alternatively, you might look for that recognition to come from someone who has enjoyed success at the top level of their chosen field, a successful sports person, a writer, an actor perhaps, or then again perhaps somebody who is a well-known and proven entrepreneur. So imagine, there you are, you've created your little organisation or company or idea, and you're trying to get it noticed in the world to make the world a better place. And then some recognition comes along, and of all of the people out there that have run companies, that have given their lives to public service, the individuals who are at the top of the game, either were or now, in various fields, what do you get calling you? Oh yes. You end up being called by two grifters. One, who's led a life of privilege, but needs help putting his socks on, and the other, a narcissist, who was a mediocre actress, who ran a blog which was stuffed with mindless observations and places she may or may not have actually visited, a stealer of shoes, someone who's divisive, whose only achievement in the world has been to marry a dim-witted prince and then whine about how badly she perceives that she's been treated. Whoopie-fucking-do. Imagine that. And that's what a number of young people got. Now, of course, as per instruction, they had to fangirl it, and I don't think the chap was that enamoured with it, so we perhaps save him the title of fanboy. But it was all various reactions of, oh my God, and gosh, how exciting and how wonderful to get a call from them. But the exercise was entirely pointless. Hey, look at us, phoning some people. Oh, the effort, the sacrifice, the long hours, the blood, sweat and tears poured into that exercise. And it's such a surprise. My backside, it is. It was filmed in their back garden, with a script, written probably by Harry's wife, using a phone that wasn't even on, and obviously so, as increasingly hairless ended up whittering on about his children being thankful, as if they give a flying fuck about it. And the Duchess of Beige just sits there with a Richter's grin, because it goes against every grain in her Ozempic-fueled body to actually express gratitude towards someone else. As clearly, in the world of Harry's wife, these people should be thanking her for calling them. They're just the little people. And it was Harry that did most of the talking, because she was clearly doing so through gritted teeth. It wouldn't surprise me, if they never actually spoke to the youngsters at all, and they just recorded their bit from the garden pretending to speak to somebody. Well, it's evidently that they didn't speak to them when they were filming it, because the phone was switched off. The screen wasn't lit up. It might be that they did speak to them, but of course it doesn't flow as well for a video, so they decided to use the scripted version. Or perhaps it was the case that people rang, "Who? Sorry, can you get off the line, please? I'm waiting for the doctors to get back to me with the results of my test to see how dangerous my hemorrhoids are." Or, "Can you get off? I'm trying to ring the Chinese. I want to order some food." So it might not have gone too well for them. It wouldn't surprise me if it was the staff that rang the youngsters, had the conversations with them, so that what the youngsters then was said was recorded and it was all edited together. The whole sorry episode was scripted, directed and rehearsed at home. Why? So Harry's wife can control it all. Spontaneity is a problem for her. Her narcissism isn't geared up to deal with it particularly well, and she lacks the wit or the brain power to deal with it also. There can't be any scope for anything going against her. She must control that narrative, in the way that she and Harry are trying to stifle freedom of speech by repeatedly trying to clamp down on anybody that criticizes them. This whole thing, this condescending call from a pair of clowns, was simply done for the purposes of making Harry's wife look good, but also that it was scripted and controlled in a particular way to ensure that there were no threats to control. Once again, the children are just used as appliances, thrown in there as if to say, "Oh, look, we've got children, aren't we good people? And yes, we'll triangulate you with our children." Of course, the children weren't there. Why not have the children there going, "Yes, thanks for whatever it is that you've done for us"? But no, they're probably looking at who they think they are real parents. In Archie's case, it's a pair of trees, and Lilibet, the nanny. What we witnessed with these clowns is them being pretend royals, doing royally type things, because they actually have no role anymore. People are bored of them going on about their victim status. They've no talent in terms of running a business, writing a book, creating a record, creating content for Netflix. And so instead, they have to fall back on the very thing that they've run away from, behaving like royals, because that's what the royals do, although other members of the royal family do it far more effectively. Calling somebody, greeting people, cutting the ribbons, accepting the flowers, turning up at the biscuit factory and asking, "And what is it that you do in the biscuit factory?" And then going to some godforsaken part of the United Kingdom and then asking, "Have you come far?" But that's what the late Queen did so well, and it's what King Charles also does well, and it's what the Prince and Princess of Wales does well, along with the Princess Royal and many others of them. They get out there, and no matter how boring and mundane it might be, they recognise the value of them undertaking that work. And yet, Harry's wife shied away from it, because it wasn't interesting, and it didn't pay her enough, and it didn't make her the central star that she believed that she should be. And oh, what delicious irony it is that they essentially end up doing something which is what the royals do. But once again, she can't even get that right. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.